Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special celebration of Uganda and our neighbours broadcast today. My name is Teddy Kalongo, and I'm Superintendent Minister for the Bristol and South Gloucestershire Circuit of the Methodist Church here in Britain. In addition to being Superintendent Minister, I also have pastoral charge of the Westbury-on-Trent Methodist Church in Bristol. Today with me on this interview is the Reverend Daniel Pratt Morris-Chapman, and he sat with me from Uganda, in Jinja, very far away from the United Kingdom. Yes. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for availing yourself for this interview. And before you talk about your ministry, your life and work in Uganda, could you tell us something about yourself?
Oh, okay. My name is Daniel, and I come from Leicestershire, and I'm a Methodist minister. I trained in Bristol, and I used to be on placement in Westbury-on-Trent. So I have fond memories of Bristol. And after finishing training for the ministry, I was sent to Cameroon, to Sheffield, to Stokesley and Italy, and now Uganda. So it's a privilege to serve the Methodist Church, to serve God through the Methodist Church, and a real privilege to speak with you today through this interview.
It's lovely, yes, to hear that the Methodist Church is being presented in that part of the world in East Africa. A great privilege, yes. So how did you end up in Uganda?
So I work for the Methodist Missions Global Relations as a mission partner, and they have partnerships with churches all over the world. And when a partner church requests a particular thing or person, in partnership with them, we sometimes send resources or sometimes people. And the Methodist Church in Uganda requested someone to come and do local preachers training and help with preparing for independence. Currently, the Methodist Church in Uganda is under the Methodist Church in Kenya. It's an overseas district of the Methodist Church in Kenya. So they're preparing for autonomy. So they need CPD. So we've been helping write CPD, translating it into the local language, and also setting up local preacher training and ministerial training as well.
Well, that seems a very big ministry you're involved in there, yes. How would you describe the church in Uganda in comparison to the church here in the United Kingdom?
The church in Uganda is predominantly under 40. So I'm 42 in April, and right. I'm old here. Which is really interesting, because in England, I'm usually the youngest person in the church or in the circuit or in the synod. So yes, most of them are under 40. The country, most of the population of the country is under 40. So the demographics of the country are reflected in the church. And most of the services are shaped by the age group. So very, very lively, very vibrant services, but a real need for support with local preacher training. And they haven't got many ministers. They haven't got many structures in place. So they really wanted help with setting up local preachers training, because many of the young people want to become preachers. Yeah. Many of the young people are really keen to do church planting. So we had a mission across the Nile, because we're near the River Nile, and they started a church. And so they really want training in evangelism, in local preacher training. They're very eager to do all kinds of things, but wanted some theological training as well.
So how would you describe your daily work, when you wake up in the morning, and the kind of work that you get involved in the church there in Uganda?
Well, like you, I have a pastoral responsibility as well. So I'm superintendent of the Jinja circuit, and I also work in the synod office. So normally during the week, we go to the office and help with we've been writing some training materials for class meetings, setting up class. They want to have the class meeting system throughout the Methodist Church in Uganda. So we've been writing some class meeting notes and helping also during the day. We're trying to help create materials, training materials. So Monday to Friday, we're often in the office writing Sunday school materials, class meeting notes, theological materials, but then we also do pastoral visits. So as superintendent, I have to do the normal things that are involved with ministry. So afternoons or evenings, sometimes going to do local preachers meetings, circuit meetings, and pastoral visits. And then, of course, on Sundays, preaching, but not only in this circuit, but we have 7 circuits, and I have to go around some of the other circuits because we do some training, local preacher training meetings in other circuits. And so on the Sundays, sometimes going to different circuits to do training and preaching in other circuits. But essentially during the week, it's mostly office work, and then evenings, usually circuit work, and then weekends, circuit work. So yeah, it's probably busy, like I'm sure busy in Bristol as well.
Yes. So what kind of challenges are you facing in your ministry there?
Well, there's very little financial resources. So the churches have been receiving a grant from Britain to pay the ministers, because most of our circuits are in rural areas. So most of the members are in the rural areas are subsistence farmers. So the collections are not sufficient usually to sustain a minister. So for about 30 years, the Methodist Church in Britain has given a grant to pay the stipends of ministers, but that's come to an end now due to the changes happening all across the mission fund and all the things that are happening. But we're trying to encourage the circuits to find ways of generating and sharing resources to try and pay staff. So that's a challenge. The other challenge is the youth. Unemployment's a huge problem in Uganda. There's a huge population boom among the under 20s, under 30s, and many of them finish school or finish university and there's no jobs. Fortunately, in Uganda, there isn't the same problems with drugs as there are in some other countries now in Africa. But there's a danger that these youth become discouraged, and there's a real need to kind of find something for them to feel self-worth and also to sustain themselves. So one of the things we're trying to do is encourage them to become local preachers. Also on Saturday, tomorrow, we have some businessmen and women coming to teach on setting up small businesses. So to encourage the youth to set up some small businesses to sustain themselves. Another challenge that we have is the general poverty, the healthcare provision. So one of the pastor's wives died in childbirth a couple of months ago.
So sorry.
It was very sad because it was a problem that in Britain, if they'd gone to the hospital, if there was a hospital, they would have had treatment and would have been okay. But because of the infrastructure for healthcare is much more limited, the lady died. Fortunately, the child survived, but it was so tragic. It was so tragic. So healthcare is obviously very different. And another challenge, I think, is sometimes there's security issues. So there's sometimes tensions, and there's a group who fled across the border, and they've caused some problems in Uganda. They're not in Uganda. They're resident normally in Congo, but they're Ugandans who have attacked some schools and caused some insecurity in Uganda. So there's a general kind of security issue as well. So sometimes it's a bit, you wouldn't go out at night if you could avoid it, or you wouldn't do certain things to be safe. So that's another another challenge, I guess.
Yes, well, we'll be praying for your safety, for yourselves, the church, and everyone there in Uganda. How can we, as a circuit, as churches here, support your work there in Uganda?
Well, I think setting up connections really and partnerships. So I mean, the districts sometimes twin with other districts. You probably already got twinned with another district, but partnerships of prayer. I think Britain can learn a lot from Methodist Church Uganda. So one of the things I'm learning is very much about encouraging the youth and letting the youth become local preachers. I think in the past, people became local preachers in Britain when they were 16, 17, 18. So I think when young people come to church in England, which I know is difficult, to encourage them to take up the opportunities that Methodism does give of later. So there's partnership insights for both sides. I think we really need on our side prayer support, encouragement. They need to know that they're not alone. I think there's been times in the history of the Methodist Church Uganda where they felt a little bit isolated, a little bit out on a limb, to remember that wider connection. So to feel connected with partners, whether that's through prayer or other things. One of the things that's really helpful is sometimes we struggle to construct churches, and Saudi Arabia is very generous. They've built hundreds of mosques. They are very generous. And if somebody wants to build a mosque, within a couple of days, they have the money to build a mosque. But churches, often we have to start churches under trees. We can construct the walls because we can get the bricks from the soil. But the roof, to roof a church is quite difficult because we need to buy metals and concretes and other things. So sometimes help with roofing of churches is a benefit. But I think the most important thing is partnership. I think to know, not necessarily money, but to know that they're not alone, that they have friends who are praying for them. And I think both sides can benefit. I think the things I'm learning here, when I'm sent back into circuit in the UK, I'll be blessed by the things I've had the chance to learn here. And so I think the partnership goes both ways. And I think that there's a real benefit for that partnership in both directions.
Yes, Daniel is married and has got a family in Uganda. Is it possible for us to say hello and talk to your family as well, to join you?
Of course, of course. One second.
Yes.
So this is Catherine.
Catherine, how are you, Catherine?
This is Anna.
Hello.
Anna, hello.
This is John.
Hello.
Hello, John.
This is Kwame.
Hello.
Hello, Kwame.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Grace.
Grace, how are you? It's good to see you. You know, we just had a lovely conversation with Daniel, and we are grateful for all your ministry in Uganda. Yes. How are you and the family settling in?
Wonderful, wonderful. We're doing well. It's a beautiful country. I have to say, Uganda is very beautiful, and it's warm.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're having a wonderful time here by the grace of God. Yeah,
fantastic.
The children are growing amazingly, and it's been a blessing to have a very supportive school.
Okay.
Which is nearby, so that's been a great blessing.
Yeah.
And the children help us. They help us. They come around with us and help us to, preach and sing and encourage people. So we started a new congregation recently near
fantastic.
where the office is, and the children were the first members.
Oh,
so they help out. They help out with singing and reading and welcoming people. So they are helping us out a lot.
Yeah. Yes, I had the privilege to meet Daniel and your two boys in person when they came over to our boss's place. So how would you describe your day? How do you spend your day in Uganda, daily life?
Well, Well, it's different. There are certain things that are constant.
Yeah.
Such as producing resource material for the church. So
yeah.
we're producing material for training preachers, we're producing material for youth leaders, Sunday school teachers. Today I've been part of a training session for worship leaders and choirs. So a normal day would be spending part of it sort of trying to catch up on the resources that we need to prepare, helping out those who have just started the church planting. So in the area near the office, I'm part of the team that goes around in the neighborhood, meeting people, praying with people on the streets. And then there's also office work. So you've got to catch up with emails and things like that. And also pastoral visiting. We try to fit in pastoral visiting during the week. So take some time up from the office and go around there. We have 3 local congregations, both firmly located in the middle of their communities. So we go in there and meet the local people, meet people's neighbors, pray with them. We are becoming a bit more Ugandan as we go.
Oh, lovely. A jumbo.
Yeah, and we fit in all sorts of things. Sometimes we are requested to do children's work, on the spot, or we go somewhere and they say, "Can you preach?" We're just having a meeting. So a day is full of all kinds of things.
Oh, lovely. Yes, lovely.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a joy and a pleasure to speak to you and meet you remotely finally, yes, and to see all the family, yes. So we wish you all the best and in your ministry, and that the Lord himself will continue to bless you and give you good health. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Is Daniel there? Just say bye to him.
Yes, Daniel is here.
Bye-bye and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel, for speaking to us. We'll be holding you in our love and prayers. God bless.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.